Hello guys, today's section is totally depend upon something called as interface. Now see, last time we have seen something called as abstract classes. See, whenever you go for a class means a block where you can define something, right? You can define your variables, you can define your methods. But the problem is when you don't know what is the definition of method, you have to declare it. And when you declare a method is called as abstract method. That means you have an abstract method here. And a class which has at least one abstract method is called as abstract class. See, last time we have seen this. But the problem is when you go for two abstract class, let's suppose we have A as abstract class, we have B as our second abstract class. Now again, whenever you create a class C which should define a method which is declared in abstract method A, that is declared. So we have to define it. But the problem is when you go for two abstract class at the same time, let's suppose A is the abstract class, B is your abstract class, you want this abstract class definition to be defined in C. That means you will create a class C. This will extend A and B. The problem is when you go for these terms where A is class, B is class, this is called as multiple inheritance, and unfortunately Java doesn't support multiple inheritance. So in order that we want Java should support multiple inheritance, we have to use interfaces. Now when we talk about interfaces, the concept of interface is almost like concept of abstract class. The only difference is when you talk about abstract class, they are class. When you talk about interface, they are interface. Again, in abstract class you can declare a method. In interface also you can declare a method. But in abstract class you can at least define some method. In interface you cannot define any method. That means in interface you can only declare, in abstract class you can declare and you can define. Now when we talk about object, you cannot create object of abstract class in the same way you cannot create object of interface. But the thing is, if A and B, if in this term, if A and B is your interface, now if you create a new class as class C, this class can use A, comma B, because this time A and B are not class, they are interface. That means whenever you take interface in class, see when you go for class and class it is extends. When you go for interface and class, it is implements. Because in interface you only declare, that means a new class which will be using that interface will be defining it. And in different terms we can say it as implementing it. So now we have to use something called as implements. So now class C implements A, comma B. And this class C should define each and every method which is declared in interface. Again, not just one interface, both the interfaces. Right? Now again this way. Let's go for a simple example. In case if you want to make an interface, it's very simple. You just have to use a keyword interface, just like you are using a keyword called as class. So interface A. Again, we can declare in a method by default interface has public methods. So public void show. Again, mind here we are only declaring it, semicolon, we are not defining it. Okay, this is your first interface. And in case if you want to implement this interface, again we cannot use interface directly, because the thing is the method which is only declared is of no use. We want its definition. So for defining we require a class. Let's suppose class name is B, which is, sorry, it's not extends, it's which is implementing the class A. So class B implements class A. And now here we have to define this method. Example, it's public void show. And here I am just printing a statement is system dot out dot print, and now I am printing here it's hello. See, as it's as simple as that. You have a interface which is declaring a show method, a class which is defining a show method. But let's imagine this class has a new method called as void display. Again, you can do it, and this is displaying hi. That means this method prints hello, this method prints hi. Again, when you create object of class B, let's suppose you have an object of class B as B object equal to new B. Here, when you use object obj, this object can call both the methods. When you say obj dot show, yeah, it will call because show belongs to obj. When you say obj dot display, this will again call the method display. Again, this is possible. But the problem is, I don't want any user to use this method. I just only want to the user should use this method. That means I'm restricting him to use this method, and we can do it. You know, when you go for interface has only one declaration, that is show, and I want the user should use only show. Why can't I make an object of A? Again, it's not possible because to create object we require constructors, and we have to define constructors. And in interface you cannot define anything. That means you cannot create constructor. That means you cannot use constructor. That means you cannot create objects. But we can create reference, because see, to create reference we don't require constructors. That means if I say A obj, this is the reference of A, like this statement. And if suppose I am giving a memory of B, it's possible, because whenever you say interface, to create object of interface we just require memory. We are creating the reference and the memory will be coming by B. That means indirectly you have an object which is of A, and this time if I say obj.show, yes, this will execute because show belongs to A. But when I say obj.display, this is not possible because display doesn't belong to A interface, it belongs to B class, and I'm restricting a user from using this display. And this is why interface are largely used, and this is the importance of interface. First thing, interface helps you to use multiple inheritance in Java, and second thing, it provides you security, right? This is interface. Thank you. That's it.